Well, I have seen so many churches and so many leaders just stonewall it when it comes to a transition plan. And I've seen a number of others that have been really conducted poorly. And since it went well, and we've seen that it's possible to do it well, I thought that we had some information that would be valuable for other people to consider. We're not saying we've provided a model for every transition that can take place, but we are saying, hey, here's some things that work for us, and maybe this will stimulate your thinking to implement a transition plan that can be successful in your situation. If what we've established is going to continue to be of value, then beyond our own leadership, then we've got to find a way to train and to mobilize a generation after us to take over the leadership of that organization, or everything we've built could crumble and fall. Well, I think it's important for the stability of the people themselves. They need to know what's going to happen when the leader is gone. But something that so few people think about, if you have a poor transition, it is costly for the church and for the organization, because if the baton is not passed smoothly, there is a decline in interest, there's a decline in membership and decline in revenue, and the whole organization suffers. So it's important in the church, for the ongoing of the kingdom of God, for the church to make a successful transition, and in business it's important because of the cost factor. I read a book by Joe Gregory called Too Great a Temptation, in which the transition at the First Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas went horribly. And then people were asking at this church, what's going to happen when Bob Russell is gone? And those two factors really motivated me to think seriously about what was going to happen and how could we do this and do it well. And once we implemented this plan, one lady, elderly lady in the church, was asked again by a friend, what's going to happen when Bob Russell's gone? And she said, well, we'll bury the dude and go on. And you know what? That ought to be the spirit of the people in the church or in the organization. We appreciate the leader, but you know, this is bigger than just one leader. We're serving for a longevity here. We're serving Jesus Christ here. Well, I think that people don't face the reality of their own mortality, or they don't face the fact that as we age we begin to lose a little bit of the ability to stay in touch with the younger generation. But to be honest, the reason most organizations don't effectively make a transition is because of ego. Our pride gets in the way as we get older, and we refuse to humble ourselves and be willing to step aside. Well, I think it is possible for an organization to make the transition smoothly and not to lose a step in the transition. I think we can also learn that the character of the people involved in the transition probably is more important than the strategy itself. But the one lesson we learned is that it can happen, it can be done smoothly, and the organization continues to grow and prosper.